Are you interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of investing experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's current portfolio consists of properties within Florida and Virginia. Our firm's services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Welcome to today's episode of Let's Do It Talk Show. It's your girl, Adrienne Howard Peterson, the CEO and founder of Do It. What I do in a nutshell is I help to turn dreamers into doers. And I do it from two aspects. I do it from the career development, resume writing, interview preparation. You're looking to switch jobs, you're looking for a promotion package, I'm your girl. Then I also do it from a business avenue. If you're looking to start a business, you have some ideas and thoughts, but don't know how to quite bring them into fruition, or you have a business and you're looking for a marketing strategy, guess what? I am your girl. Here at the Let's Do It Talk Show, we're primarily created for entrepreneurs. However, we feel and we know that the entrepreneur involves so many different things. So we talk about faith, we talk about finances, we talk about the future, and we talk about family and relationships. So today is the second Monday of the month, and it is all about finances, and we call it Money Making Monday. So we have one of our hosts with us, and the other ones are not feeling well, but we're going to touch bases on their topics. So one of the things that that's going on in the news right now is the payroll tax. So Trump has an executive order where payroll taxes will be deferred for certain people who qualify, and we'll be talking through that, and also for those businesses who have opt-in. For a lot of my friends and a lot of my business partners are actually federal government workers as well. And for the federal government, you have no option. It is a mandatory process that you have to go through if you fall under that category. So you know what I do before we jump deep into the topic. I like to go through and talk to you a little bit about my weekend. So my weekend was full of various activities and different things that I did. So in sharing my video, it'll walk you through, yesterday was Grandparents' Day. So had the opportunity to spend some time with my crew. And then also shout out for the birthdays. One, first of all, to my grandnephew, Samaj. He turned 9 years old, and he had a wonderful birthday party. Him and the grandkids, they're always on gaming, so what else do you do? He had a gaming party where the game bus was out there. And also to Mr. D, Mr. Denzel. So you all probably have seen me talk about him or heard me speak of him. but he is the owner of U Broadcast Media, where the show is taped in the studio. So big shout out to him. I gave my mushy stuff on Facebook, just saying how wonderful he is in terms of allowing me to utilize my creativity, and then also creating stuff in the studio that I'm always coming in looking around to see like what has he done. But in addition to that, I'm just sharing some pictures from my I got to go into the building of church. It was for a recording, so it wasn't service or anything. It was a small number of people in there, but I felt the feeling with that, and I was rapping in my God is dope equipment and all had on all of my gear to represent that. And then of course my cooking, always sharing about my cooking and the various things that go on with that. So this weekend and throughout the week, I cook stuffed salmon. So yeah, my first time cooking seafood outside of shrimp. So I'm stepping my game up a little bit, and Giovanni is the taste tester, and she pretty much was raving about it, and I joked about the whole thing. And then I cooked sweet and sour chicken. When I tell y'all the sauce, I'm a sauce girl, but the sauce of it was just like it was very good, very good, very good. So yeah, so always sharing about my weekend. Had a great weekend, and one other thing happened this weekend. Did y'all watch Versus? Did y'all watch Versus? So Hattie LaBelle and Gladys Knight Versus. So I have a couple pictures of them, but it was phenomenal from beginning to end. Their relationship, their discussions that they had of sharing with one another was just like phenomenal. Their voices still have it. The songs just took me back, and it was hit after hit after hit after hit, and I was posting. And then they surprised us with Dionne Warwick. So Dionne Warwick came out and pretty much helped out with singing That's What Friends Are For. So phenomenal. And it was so many people that were online. It was just an amazing time. So I'm loving the verses. I was a little late. I didn't catch Monica and Brandy live, but I caught the replay. Again, very good, very good. So let's jump into the topic. And we have our contributing host who always brings information in terms of finances and planning so that you can I used to say we're going to help them get rich, and they're like, no, we're going to help them improve to make sure that they increase and improve their finances. So Saka Juwea is a finance expert, and she'll provide a brief overview about herself and her company. Hi.
Hey, Adrian, how you doing? It's Money Making Monday.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I'm so excited. I always love coming on and just hanging out and just giving people the information that they need because, it's always important. It's always relevant. That's what I love about our show. We look at, see what's relevant in the news and how it's going to be affecting people. And we want to educate the masses. So for me, like you said, I'm the CEO and founder of Finning Financial Group, LLC. Yay. Was in the military, started my career in financial management back in 1998, transitioned into federal government service, and then transitioned again to be my own business person because I saw that was where I was needed. I felt that was my passion and my purpose is to be out here educating people. So I am loving this opportunity to be able to use this platform so we can tell people what is going on. So with this whole Trump payroll deferral, key word, deferral means pause, means temporary. That means, and I love how you put on one of the posts on Facebook that you got to think about it like kind of like a loan. Basically, essentially, the money it's going to be in a held position. So you're going to get the money in your paycheck, but think about it, it's only temporary, it's deferral. So it's a couple of things, a couple of ways how you can look at this. It can be beneficial. I would say personally, thinking about it, it can be beneficial for people. Like you said, they the max a person can be making annually in salary is around $104,000 based on the criteria and what's
Right.
in the executive order. And also, like if a person is in a great place financially, they have great
Yeah.
savings. They're putting money aside for retirement. And so if they see this extra money, they can look at it in a positive way because I was thinking through this because there are some criticisms, but to me, there are some positives too. I like to see both sides of the story. So for someone who has a great like financial structure, mindset, behaviors, they could literally take this money, couple
Right.
take the difference and put it like your paycheck. Look at the last couple of pay stubs that you received with your regular hours, 80 hours, because that can determine things too. If you go up a little bit, if you're right on the border of 104 and you go up due to overtime or bonus money, then you may not see that money come back into your paycheck. Just the people look out for. But if you keep it at that level and you're lower, you can do a couple of things. You can look at your last couple of pay stubs, see what a regular check look like with that Social Security tax. That's the only thing
Right.
that's being affected. That Social Security employee portion of the taxes that you're charged. So take a look at your pay stub, see what that amount is for you, and you can
Mhm.
put that difference that you're getting into your paycheck because I think for like federal government employees, you have no option. You're opted in. If you're 104,000 a year and below, they're putting you in the program in a sense.
And
For
let's talk about the opt-in. Let's
okay,
talk about the opt-in. So, one good point that you make. So when they first was announcing it, they were saying, "Oh, it's optional. Like you can opt in or opt out of it." But then OPM, Office of Personnel Management, made a decision for the entire federal government. So that takes care of a whole group and wipe that out in terms of that. But
and
then
military members.
yes, 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 yes. And then for private sector, organizations have the ability to opt out of it because there is really no benefit for them, and it's a possibility. Like say for an example, if a company or an organization goes out of business,
Uh huh.
how you going to reap your funds back? So really, the organizations have to think of their mindset. Larger corporations, um, theirs is a little testy in terms of it, but it was no true real benefit for any businesses. So small businesses, and
Uh-uh.
any other bigger and larger corporations, it was really no advantage for them to do so. But yes, absolutely, the federal government, you don't have a choice. If you make $104,000 or less, it actually is like bringing home $4,000 a pay period before taxes.
Correct.
Then it's going to happen. Like it's going to happen. And for my job, I work for the Health and Human Services. Ours started this pay period that we're currently in, like right now.
Yeah, because the period is from September 1st until December 31st, 2020. So the first pay period, real pay period for federal government employees is Friday, September 18th. So that's when they're going to see it. So yeah, and that's why I was saying, like, if you want to take a look at your pay stubs, see how much that Social Security tax is. It's the one at 6.2%, and put it in a savings account. You can do that, because key thing
Right.
is the deferral. So beginning in 2021, if there is no legislation passed in Congress to like waive
Mm-hmm.
paying back that money, then you will have to pay that money back. So you will see less in your paycheck. Not only will they be taking the proper tax from January to April, they're going to take back what they gave you from September to December 30th, December 31st in
Yeah.
2020. So
So to me,
saying,
for the most part, it makes
replan.
no sense at all. I've been trying to go through different processes of, oh, okay, maybe this work, maybe this work. Because even if someone is in a bind, say you make along the lower component of the salary range,
Yeah,
and you get this amount, it's 6.9% or something around that
6.2.
amount.
Mm-hmm.
So it equates to a small amount, right? and then you're it's helping you out. It's helping you out.
Yeah.
And then January comes, what you were being helped out with, you have to pay it back, plus you have to pay your regular. I'm a very strategic person,
Yeah.
very logical person. So for someone that is in need of it, there's no benefit. And we can definitely talk about what you were talking about when someone is in a position where they can make it work for them. But for those people that can make it work for them, they didn't need a program from the beginning. So I really think it is, I'm sorry, I think that it is a political play, because at this time right now, it's like, oh, the forgiven, we're going to think about that. How do you start off without knowing the outcome of what you're going to do? And then other places, it specifically said, that Trump says, if I'm elected,
Mm-hmm.
then I will put it into play for it to be a forgiveness note. So it is like the most craziest thing. They don't have all the answers. They're figuring it out as they go. How do
Correct.
you pay back? Like for us, we're on a bi-weekly payroll, but they still are going through the questions. So I went all on OPM's website, getting the Q's and A's and going through it and understanding it. They don't have all of the answers yet. They don't have all of the answers.
It's just like how the stimulus checks went. It was no real guidance. It's like we're putting together a project and we're using duct tape and plastic. You know.
Yeah, but
So
at
it's
least
like,
with the stimulus check is, it was known that you wasn't going to have to pay it back. So
correct.
that was a good thing.
Yes.
This right here, like right now, you have to pay it back. You don't
Right.
know. So what do you do? It's like
And
robbing Peter to pay Paul. It makes absolutely no sense at all for people who would really be in need for this. It makes no sense. So we can talk about the benefits of and other things, but we can move on. I'm gonna try to stay calm, but
yeah.
it makes zero sense to me. So you already know my point and my side.
Exactly.
Zero.
Because the thing about it, I did want to bring up the aspect of like I said, people who are in a good position, who have the right financial behaviors, savings, and everything, they could use it as, hey, I see this money coming. I can do one or two things. I take the delta, I put in a savings account, maybe make something on it if I can find a decent, savings account online to get some interest, but it's not many. It's not many that go over like 1.3, 1.5%. Or if you find some cheap stocks right now that you may want to purchase, maybe because, the country is on sale. I'm not even going to lie. It really is. You see the volatility.
You put that.
Let me be real. So maybe they can do something like that with the money. But to me, being a financial professional, I would have to tell people, please take a look at your individual situation. If you know you are one of those people who are living paycheck to paycheck, you don't need a double whammy when it comes January time. So take that money and just put it in your savings and just see, because it's just, you're right. It's like when you think about it, for the people who really need it, and I can take it one step further, people who really need it are probably the people who really need money, are the people right now who got furloughed and who are unemployed. But this is really just for people who have a job right now. And small businesses, like you said it, they're not going to do it because the administrative costs, it's not worth it to do it.
And how is it supposed to help the economy? So basically, right now, you have a little bit of pennies, some coins, to add up to do whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But come January, you're doubling up, so you're double digging yourself out of hole where this time, if you spend it, even if you spend it on something that you needed,
yeah, like home repairs or like a bill that's out there that you had to kind of let go because of Corona. Yeah.
In January, if you were living a paycheck to paycheck or whatever, you're only going to be in a deeper hole. So yes, you pay for that bill, and in some cases, it may make sense to even be in a deeper hole depending on what it is. But for most logical thinking, doesn't make sense. Not going to help the economy. It's not going to help the economy. Those who can afford it and are able to use it in beneficial ways in terms of savings or other things like that, and we'll talk about credit also. But those people who are benefiting, it's not going to help the economy. It's not going to help the economy. It's not going to help the economy. It's not going to
Because I
help
think they did. They thought like this will be more circulation back into the economy. But I'm like, the parameters are making it difficult for people to think, hey, it's free money. It's not free. Unless, like I said, the stipulation is if they waive the payback option through legislation. And right now we
right.
have a split legislation. We have a Republican controlled White House and Senate, but we have a Democratic controlled House. So for it
But nobody wants it.
correct. And
Nobody wants
so
it. The Democrats or the Republicans. It doesn't make
yeah,
sense.
they are in the process, the Democrats, like the chairman of the House Means and Ways Committee, the chairman, he's looking to
Mhm.
write legislation as we speak to basically null and void this whole executive order. Because it's another caveat. Remember, it's the Social Security employee tax. So guess what? If it's deferred, it will not affect people who are receiving Social Security benefit because the money is being paid back. So essentially, the money that is not being put into the Social Security Trust Fund right now is on hold. But if somehow there is legislation that passes and they enact and become law to basically waive the payback option of the deferral, then that's another problem because you have taken that amount of
Especially when it's
money
a
from Social Security Trust Fund. And so now you may be affecting current and future beneficiaries of the Social Security payment.
exactly. So all around the board is wrong.
I
It just
know. I
doesn't
try to be
make sense.
logical and everything, but it's just,
So when
yeah,
you look at it on a macro level, right? And I don't know, for the past couple months, I've been using micro and macro a lot, but it's making sense. So
it
on a
is.
macro level, when you look at it from the bigger picture,
Yeah.
nothing. It's a lose, 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 lose situation because even with the deferment now, then you go with the people paying it back. You look at the Social Security Trust Fund,
Yeah.
if money is not going, think about how many federal employees that we have, and that's just the federal government alone. Not
Yeah.
even talking about those who are going to be involved and engaged in it, but think about
Right.
how many federal government employees make less than $104,000 or 104,000 or less. So this money that they contributed bi-weekly, and people are like, oh, it's only for a short number of months. Look at that from both ways. But when you look at the huge amount that's in the Social Security Trust Fund and how it impacts the interest that would have been made on that, we're going to lose it. So
Either
it's just
way, that interest is not going to be paid because it's a deferral. So there's no money sitting there to earn interest. Either way, if it's paid back or if it's like waived that the payback doesn't happen. So it's like no, that interest is not being earned, and so the fund itself may have a slight depletion regardless because that money isn't earning
yeah. And it's
interest in the account. So
like this topic has
yeah,
me like heated up a little bit. Yeah,
I
it has me
know.
like heated up a little bit because I tried, like I'm serious, I tried to go through and find some good in it. None.
Yeah.
Came up with zero.
Yeah, because I
So
was looking
anybody,
at those things and I'm like, yeah, and it's
so
yeah,
let's talk like credit. So Shanae's not here, but that's Shanae's area and
uh,
what she focused on in terms of this. So I also looked at it from a credit standpoint. From a credit standpoint, for the most part, it does not negatively impact your credit.
no,
But there's a possible benefit, and you kind of like started talking about that a little bit. But you have to be mindful of several things.
correct.
Several things. One, the amount of money that it is. So let's say if you made, let's just do some estimates. If you make 70,000, at the end of the day, it's probably like 1,400 at the most, right? So in totality, when you're doing this, so and you don't get it all at one time, so you get it piece by piece. So some of the things in terms of credit, it can, because you know that you're going to have this through the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as you were saying, but you can't pay off like a credit card or pay off something because you know, like you already know what it's going to be through December.
Yes.
So if you can use it wisely, then you can use it to your benefit. So that's the benefit that, you know, that can come out of it. But again, you have to be able to make sure that you maintain, because when it comes time to pay it back, you also have to be mindful, because
you got to pay it back. Yeah, if it doesn't pass, like I said, I know I keep throwing that caveat. If it doesn't pass legislation, yeah, the money has to be paid back. It's a deferral. It's specific everywhere you see it in the executive order. That keyword is deferral. And you know what deferral means? It means pause or to place in a whole position until a later time until it's taken back. So, yeah. So
one great example of this is student loans. So I didn't have student loans. So at the beginning I had it, but my job paid it back. But when I started looking at the accumulation and everything that goes through, because I was like, oh, my job is going to pay for, so let me put this on deferment. Cool. Or while you're in school, you get a deferment. Cool, right?
Your job, different types of jobs,
Right. And depending on the type of loan you had, there's subsidized and unsubsidized. Boy, when you get that one that don't like freeze your interest, you're looking at like
it's a balloon.
And then you look like, should I have even did this deferment? You think you're doing something slick, or not really slick, but you think you're maneuvering like, oh, I can do this, but it ends up biting you. Same logic in terms of deferment. So understanding what it is and what goes around it. But so I will give it this one positive thing. Okay. You can look at it as an interest-free loan, because you're not paying interest back on.
Correct. It's not accruing interest while it's in deferral. It's not, unlike student loans that they do. It's not. So that's one thing. Like you said, once again, keyword loan. Loan, meaning it needs to be paid back.
So that's like what? That's 1 to 100. one positive thing.
We try to give both sides of the story. We want to show some positive but we got to be real about it too. And we want people to know. I want people just to pre-plan. I want people to be aware. These are some of the reasons where it's so important to know your finances on a bi-weekly and monthly basis, because things like this can happen. And if you have no clue of what you're paying or how much you're taking home or what taxes are being paid for, then you're going to be like, what do I do? And that's why I keep throwing out there, if you don't know, then you need to, when September 18th comes, the federal government employees, military members, September 18th rolls, you get that direct deposit. Pause for at least a little bit, go back and pull your last 2 pay stubs and realize what amount is that Social Security employee tax. 6.2%, but look and see how much that is. And it really is. People are human, people are adults, you're grown, you're gonna do what you wanna do. But the thing about it, do you wanna make your anthill a mountain if you don't know what's going on? Because the thing about it, I hate to keep bringing this up, the furlough. Longest furlough in history, went from 2018, December 2018, that rolled into 2019. And literally people who are living paycheck to paycheck, you saw federal government employees down in food lines and doing other things in order to survive, because they were not receiving that consistent check every 2 weeks. So this is not of that magnitude, but it's still of like, you got to pay this back. So you can't just go blindly start spending thinking you got extra money when it's not. Just be, educated about it and be aware that this money has to be paid back if legislation does not pass.
And I love the piece that you talked about in terms of putting into a savings account. You can't go around with a savings account. I mean, it's not like you're going to earn like $1 million or anything great, but that's the safest place to put it right now. So like trying to stock and all of that, like it's not extra money, but like you said, for those who are in a place
And that new purse that you want all of a sudden, please don't do that. Please, y'all, don't do that.
Because first of all, it's going to take you until December to get all of the money, because it's going to be like 100 and something, like based on your pay at the end of it. So I just really wanted to make sure that people didn't look at it as extra money. It is a loan as of right now. If they change something, then fine, you'll have it saved up, and then you can take action and do.
And be like, wow, and be proud of yourself. Like, I took the right steps. I went ahead and put it aside. The legislation passed, so now it's money that's mine, which it is yours. And if they pass it, and then do something with it. You can, like you were saying, pay off a bill, do some home repair. You want to take a mini, well, you can't really take vacation, COVID. Sorry. You can take your chance if you want to, but just something you can do. But I mean, that could be a bright side, but that bright side ain't guaranteed.
And there's so many factors that go along with it, and you all, like, we really have to pay attention to everything that's going on, because one, we know that right now it's election time.
Yes, it is.
So when we talk about all of the various things that can happen and that we're hoping for, if there is a change
in administration,
in the political party, in the administration, like, our worlds automatically get flipped upside down. It doesn't even matter, like, that we're like, if the Democrats win and you're a Democrat, and it's like, oh, it's not just that. Like, everything, just imagine, like, if you move into a house and you don't like anything that the person had, the colors on the wall, everything.
I don't like the tiles on the floor, blah, blah, blah. You're going to blow it up. You're going to blow it up.
So it doesn't make any sense at all from an economic standpoint. So you got to pay attention to what's going on through the times. Listen to the languages that everybody, especially Congress, the Senate, as well, everybody is saying about it. They're dropping hints and giving the keys, but even like in doing the studying, everybody think it's like not valuable at all and not making any sense. And then that's why they don't have the answers, because they're making it up as they go. So be aware. Don't fall into a trap so that
just be educated for yourself. For yourself. Yeah. Be educated enough for yourself to don't just blindly go with what someone's telling you. Do the research. See how it affects you and your household. That is what you need to do. And understand it from a numbers perspective. It doesn't matter if you're red, blue, Democrat, Republican. It comes down to the numbers. Just like when they did the tax law rewrite, the first one, major one in 31 years. It had nothing to do when you start receiving that money, however it fell out. It had nothing to do with what side that you fell on. It's how it affected you number-wise. This is the same thing. How will it affect you number-wise? How will it affect your household? How will it affect you being able to pay your bills, buy food for your family, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, pay your car payment? How does it affect you? That's what you need to focus on.
And then talking about the tax laws, that's one thing. And like, I'm so honored to have you on the show, because you were a part of that, actually engaged in helping when they transitioned and when they were writing the tax law. So I know you know about it like firsthand. But one thing, like, for people who have like mortgages and they were counting on the interest, and they have all of these charitable donations and
property tax. Look, the property tax. I don't mean to harm, but I got to let you in on some secrets. That bad boy was the first one to go. When they were talking about negotiating how to pay for the tax bill, because that's the thing. I don't know if people understand this or not. When they make bills, especially bills that affect like taxes or something like that, it has to be paid for. It's not like a free thing. So in order to pay for this huge, humongous tax law and this tax bill that comes along with it, because they've changed so many things to even it out, and to kind of like not explode the deficit, even though the deficit is the hugest it's ever been. They have to find ways to take away from one thing. It's like a seesaw. You go up and down because you want to take that level. So one of the things was the property tax. It was like It was also the state and local tax, SALT. That was another one that was, you're able to claim that up to $10,000 or $12,000. That bad boy got thrown out like first thing,
So that
because because guess who relies on it? Middle class and lower class people who are homeowners. So, and then they're like, well, we're trying to be fair, and we'll say like the people who could afford like $1 million homes, we'll reduce the amount they can take as a tax write-off. It's like it was crazy. It was crazy. And so it's like things like that. I mean, they were even affecting like seniors, because there are certain provisions in the tax law where for medical costs they're able to write it off during their taxes. Some of those bad boys got taken away. How about teachers?
Here's the sad thing about it. I'm sorry. Here's the sad thing about it is, when they're writing these laws,
yeah,
they don't look at it in totality. Like, they didn't mean to hurt the seniors in terms of the medical, because they were thinking like, oh, they make this little amount so they don't need it. They don't. When I'm telling you all, you have to make sure that you stay educated and that you stay up on everything that's going on, and don't wait until it's time to file your taxes to start understanding. Because
our
with
tax retirement,
like we filed in January.
Yeah, look, plug. Same thing with your retirement.
It's
know what you're getting into.
Yeah. So I never understood why people waited until January to start just waiting for your taxes to come in, and then you're going and you don't know what it is. You gotta start like early on. So if it's another donation you need to make, or it's another something that you do, so rather than throwing money away, give it to whomever that you wanted to go through. But that's so you get out to make sure that you
is, though? It out so that you don't have to pay. You know what that is, though? That's changing mindset. That's changing mindset of knowing that having and hiring a tax professional is beneficial to you. It is not a bill. It is beneficial to you because they're going to help you try to get as much as you can back. But you need a professional. You can't, a lot of people, and please don't take this the wrong way. You have your TurboTax and everything. But when things like this happen, like a major tax rewrite or something about payroll tax deferral, you need a professional. Because there have been so many different changes, you may or may not can catch it, or the system on the software may or may not catch it. That's why you need a human being to say, hey, if you do this, you need to look at this. If you do this, you need to look at this. That's why professionals are out there. And I love using I've heard this example before, and I love it. Like Michael Jordan. He's considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But guess what? Michael Jordan had a coach. He wasn't doing it by himself. He knew he needed a team and a coach to make him at his peak performance, and a trainer. That's the same thing when it comes to your life and living your best life.
And understanding that it's a tax write-off as well. Like, a lot of people don't know that, but that's the whole thing. If you're not educated on it, then you don't know it. But when you find out, that's when you do better. But definitely, and your situation, your individual situation, totally different from the next person. While you have the overall general guidelines, you have the general taxes and understanding. Just like as you're going through, just like they didn't know it was going to impact the senior citizens. When you're going through, you have to look at it, and you have to look at each thing according to your personal life, because that's how you will be able to determine what to do. And if you think that you can learn it on your own, I mean, by all means, people are reading, but that's not your area. Like, people that are in finances get paid to do that. There are classes that go on, like, as you're leading up to this time. But my only point that I want to make in terms of this, and that I want to hit on, I should say, is don't wait until January. Like, right now is when you need to start, like, researching, getting connected with a financial person so that you can know what you need to do for the latter parts, so that by December 31st, you have done all that you needed to do. If you wait till January, whatever you do affects the year and the taxes that you paid and that you file the next upgoing one. I never understood why people didn't understand that. I never understood that.
Well, the thing about it is, to me, I always think about it this way: money, taxes, strategy was not a common topic in some people's household. It wasn't in mine. I learned it when I left. You know what I mean? I learned some things while I was at home, but it wasn't the major
Right.
things I learned around the dinner table. And so, but some cultures, that's a dinner table topic. If they break it out and understand, do you know what this is? Do you know what that is? This is how you need to start saving and things of that nature. It is, from a sense, like learning your ABCs, and some, it was also finances that children were taught. And, they were, told this is what you need to do. But, if you don't have that, you can't use it as an excuse anymore of saying, because I didn't have it when I was growing up, I can't learn it now. Yes, you can. And there are people out there to help you. Not all, and I'm not gonna lie, I take it fully. There are some not so professional good people in all career areas and all career fields.
Right.
There's good people out there too. So get referrals. See, get some feedback from past clients and clientele to see whether or not this is a good fit for you. You can go out there, you can make appointments to see with people.
So we're going to talk about legacy building and finding different ways to invest. But first, let me give a shout out to everyone who's on the line. Brenda Kelly, Shannon Wilson, and yes, like I loved your comment. Word, people need to listen to the knowledge that's being dropped here. It's things that really are going to impact them as of this pay period here. Michelle Royster King, Loretta. Hey Loretta, thanks for joining again. Tiffany, and Tiffany says this is great information and it's informative. And shout out to Major Bandy, Marcella Stretch. Thank you all for joining. Felicia, your sister, says that's why our people, some of them struggle because they refuse to get educated in regards to their finances and retirement. They borrow on income tax and don't invest. So we're going to talk about that. So we're going to transition in talking about that. So one of the stories that just lit up my heart was Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
So in Atlanta, Georgia, 19 families came together to recreate Black Wall Street. They bought almost 100 acres of land.
Yeah.
100. Yeah. And they want to build a Black Wall Street. And as you know, Janice Bowles, who's not on with us today, but she's a real estate investor, real estate guru, and she talks about the everyday things that she and her husband started off with years ago, how she was able to quit her job and how they had property on top of property on top of property on top of property that she wants everybody to learn and understand it. So one of the things we talked about was pooling money together to invest in on a property. So you all, this is very real. It's very reachable. It's very attainable. It's when we get it in our mindset and when we understand it. And I'm going to switch to you for a minute so you can break it down. But your sister, Felicia, hit it on the head. Like, the whole thing about investment in insurances, like nobody, like it's like our community missed that whole lesson and they don't understand. Like, it's very popular in the Jewish community. Like, they don't understand how wealth has been like created and left. Even when somebody appears like they don't have any money, how are they leaving wealth for their children and their children's children? Like, how are they starting it? And it's understanding all about these investments and all about insurances. But I definitely want to tell you all about Black Wall Street. It's
and you can make the plug. That's going to be our topic next month. That's we want people to come back in October. Second Monday in October, we're going to focus on that. The insurances, leaving legacies, building legacies, through also property, real estate, and also talking about it from a credit perspective. So that's going to do that plug. Yay.
Right, and you can definitely chime in and break down. But yes, we are definitely talking about that next week. And the thing about it is
next month.
Next month. Look, I'm all excited. But the thing about it is that people tend to not gravitate towards it because they think that they can't afford it.
They can't
But
afford
like
it.
there are
Yeah.
so many different ways and so many programs where it meets you where you are right now. And that's
Correct.
the thing that causes us to like move away from it because we're so uneducated.
Yes. And we're stuck in the now. We think if our now doesn't accommodate it, we can never have it. And that is so not it. Think about if Jeff Bezos thought like that. Like now, it's like his thing wasn't working about selling books online. Think about if he hadn't went for it. The man is worth what? Like, I mean, a 200 billion, trillion, whatever. I forget the number. It's so crazy. But it's like, you got to think about it that way. It's like your now is temporary. Your now is because you haven't seen it, then it's not real. Or it may be a scam or something. And it's like, I just want to just tell people it's if it's too good to be true, which some of those things, money making ways that people have out there, it is too good to be true. But legitimately, when it comes to insurance, just to make a couple of plugs, insurance predates the IRS. You have some insurance companies that are over 170 years old. That is not a scam. That is not too good to be true. It's always been there. And the people who used it originally were people who had money. And guess what? The people who are still using it, the Rockefellers and all the Vanderbilts, they were all using insurance. And they have continued to do so and leaving legacies. But for some reason, you think it's not for you. No, everyone started somewhere. No one came fresh off with money. Everybody's family legacy started somewhere. So we need to educate our community the most and say we need to start putting plans in place. No more because of my current situation, where I live, what how much education I have, I can't do it. Yes, you can. It's mindset. It's mindset and it's belief and it's unshakable faith that you can do it. It
Yeah,
really is.
yeah, yeah.
And we just need to change that. If we can believe in all other stuff to happen, why can't we believe we can have money to a point where we have wealth that we don't have to worry about things?
Yeah,
Why is this so
absolutely.
impossible to believe?
Right. And so again, next month
Yeah,
for the second Monday, we are going to be talking about insurances and investments.
yeah,
In all different aspects, on all different levels of where you're from. So we know it sounds cute. Oh, I want to leave a legacy for my children's children and my children. So all of that sounds cute, but you have to start from somewhere.
correct,
And it's not impossible to start exactly where you are. So we're
correct.
going to be having fundamental informations, and then it's going to be followed by a free session, which Saka Joanne will be doing a session that deeply goes into insurances and different components of it. So make sure like you're following us on the Money Making Mondays. It's just simple things that you're able to do to be able to help you from a financial standpoint. And it's things
Right.
that you wouldn't even like think of. That you
Yeah,
wouldn't
and
even
the
like
first thing too is let go of the embarrassment and the shame and think you're not worthy. That's going to be one thing. You got to.
yeah.
Gotta let that go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, if y'all have any questions, put them in the feed. Saka Joanne, do you have anything else that you want to add? Any closing remarks?
I mean, my only closing remarks is once again, our main topic was the payroll tax deferral. Everyone just, be a little sensical and logical with it.
Right.
Take a look at your current paycheck, see what it's going to be. And if you see that extra money coming in, just, put it aside right now. Because think about it, you didn't have it 2 weeks ago. So you
Right.
have it this week. So just put it aside. And like you said, Ladrine, you brought up a great point, the election. When that happens, and if it totally flips, then this could go away same week. So nothing's guaranteed right now. So the only thing you can control is you and your actions on what you do with the money. So it's like try to put yourself in the best possible position you can, and that's being prepared because you know it's gonna happen. You know right now that the possibility of it being paid back is huge. And you know you're going to be double taxed possibly when it comes January 2021. So you can do what you may, but you have the knowledge and you have the information.
There will be repercussions.
Yeah.
Like, take it to the street. There will be repercussions. I'm like, well, so can you tell them how they can contact you if they wanted more information on what we talked about today, what we're talking about next month, or anything that's financial related?
Oh yeah. So for Facebook, I have my personal Facebook page, Sacagawea Fanning. Also, you can message me through Messenger, either through Sacagawea Fanning. Also, I have my business page, Fanning Financial Group LLC. Message me through Messenger. I also have Instagram, that's at Sacagawea Fanning. I have LinkedIn, which is once again Sacagawea Fanning. I always say this, I'm not very creative, but I just like my name is unique and people can remember Sacagawea. So I just go with it. And also my email, I'll put that, my email and phone number, I'll put that in the comments if you want to get in contact with me.
Okay, that sounds good. So we're getting ready to close out, but do me a favor, right? So if you watched the verses, just drop it in feed. Tell me. So it was a tie. So I'm telling y'all that point blank.
I didn't think about it that way. I thought it was a legendary historical thing, and I didn't want to do a who did it. But I enjoyed the music. I went into it saying I am not going to pit Patty against Gladys because those are two powerhouses. I'm going to sit back and enjoy this free show where you usually probably got to pay some coin to be watching this, and I'm going to enjoy the show.
Right. So I just want to ask everybody put their thought in it. Don't pick a winner because they're both winners in their own rights.
They are icons.
I've seen both of them perform before. Gladys Knight was the most recent one that I saw doing her LA show. But oh my God, last night was just like very enjoyable. Yeah.
I love the sequence.
I love the shade. Like, funny. And how many times did she change her shoes?
Oh, I don't know. I lost count. Patty and picking off shoes.
Right. Tiffany said it was a great night of two musical legends, but I would say Gladys' vocals were amazing. Definitely, and I can't even argue with that. Gladys, like, nothing has changed in her voice.
Because they're old school. They were taught that wherever you go, you need to be ready to perform, period. That's old school right there.
Yeah, both of them ready to perform, but like Gladys' voice was like immaculate. Patty, don't get me wrong, love her to death, but there was some part, hold on. There was some part where she was moving that microphone away, but she saved it at the end, and she would have wrapped that ad lib up. She's like, I ain't singing doing this song, but at the end, I'm gonna get him. And at the
end, the music cut down. Yes.
And I'll give it to her. They kept messing up on her words, on her lyrics. So yeah.
Correct. And she called them out.
She was funny, and she was like everything. Oh, when Dionne Warwick came in.
Over.
It was like a little teeny 10. It didn't roll down. It was a 10. I wanted to just like. I actually was about to do a post, but I was like, I didn't want to leave any of my friends out, so I'm like not even doing this thing. All y'all. So that was really, really great, and I'm looking forward to see who they're having next. They said Anita Baker, but they had paired her. Well, they were suggesting pairing her up with Melba Moore, and I was like, You know, I love Anita Baker. So who would y'all like to see Anita Baker paired up with? Some said Regina Bell, which I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's hard to like.
Correct.
Anita Baker, like, please see, I'm biased. I love Anita Baker. Like everybody knows
Anita, because Anita's just so. Well, how about Stephanie Mills? That could be one. Stephanie. Ooh. I don't know, because she has that tone.
I heard, but Stephanie Mills definitely can come through. Stephanie, I might be being, no, Anita Baker. I'm sorry. Yeah, Tiffany said Anita and Regina will be the bomb. Yeah, I think that you have to that one a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, Stephanie Mills can sing. Home.
Yeah.
I still play her record. Well, it ain't a record, but I play her album that came out in 1988 and 89. Yeah, so she did something, but not Melba Moore. They can't even do that. That's gonna be like unfair. Yeah, they can't do that. But all right, thank you all for listening. I hope that you all found this information very valuable and you take heed to all the and the lessons that were provided. We have been doing our research, and although I won't be impacted and affected, the information was like unbelievable to me. So I was like, oh, we have to share this on this show. We kind of like pick the order in which we'll do. Insurance is very important. So really, you all make sure that you tell everybody and that you are here next month. And then sign up for Saka Jareed's class that is that same following week where she's going to break it down and go into further details. We got to get hip to insurances. And I just not only so that we don't see any GoFundMe or taking like more than the necessary time to bury someone, but also so that we can utilize this money to make more money and to use it as an investment. The thing that we have not been, utilizing where other communities have done so. So thank you all for joining. Make sure that you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We upload the recordings there. You don't get the comments that are in the feed, but you get to see it over without the comments, and you can really take notes. I always go back and watch the show. And next week is actually about business. And I don't know if you can.
I can't see it. I can't see it. Do it that way.
Okay.
Prudent?
Prudent principles.
Oh, okay.
So Dr. Karen Hughes Pruden, who is on the show with me when we talk about human resources and business and leadership, she has the book that just came out. So we're going to be talking about networking up and down. When you have issues and you don't know how to quite have a conversation with your leadership or know how to convey information to them or your subordinates, we're going to have a deep conversation about that and so many other different levels of communication and talking about knowledge and various topics. So next week is going to be a great one. And then after that, we're going to have some fun at the end of the month. We haven't had a woman versus man type of, not competition. We don't call it a competition, but
a conversation.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. We haven't had one of those.
Insight.
Some juicy topics have been floating around on Facebook. So we're going to set up something where we invite some people to come into the Zoom room so that we can have it shown. So COVID is not going to stop everything that's going on. So we're going to resume that at the end of the month. And October is coming up. So we're going to have a new look. I'm revamping and doing some things. October is really the technical anniversary for the show. So it will actually be going into the third year.
Oh,
the third year. It's also my 5-year anniversary for Do It. So a lot of fun things coming up, a lot of guests, a lot of juiciness that'll be going on.
Celebration.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you as always, Dr. Jareed, for bringing in the knowledge and listening to me as I go, because I'm debating everything that goes on because I really get educated. I really like to learn and take the points from it. So thank you again for being patient with me, because I know I be getting hyped, but that's because I feel it. But again, thank you all so much, and see you all next week. Bye. Back in the studio. I'm in my